guys. You have a good lick of that vagina, Khaleesi. You make sure you get every bit. Yeah. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, that's funny. She's not licking now. Oh, I was watching it in the TV screen. Hey, tickle pop, tickle pop. Was it puppy? Was it pop poop? He's a poopy. He's a puppy, tickle poopy. Yeah. He's a poop. He's a puppy, tickle poop poop. Okay. Let me just change this. System preferences. Ba 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 da ba da. Okay, I'm just going to open the back door so she can go and sit in the sun. Hello. Is the sound good? Very good. There we go. Okay, so I have to look on Skype on here. Let's just make sure I've not got the, yeah. It's so exciting. I don't even know what I'm excited about. Oh, yeah. Then you see someone you fancy is watching, you're like, oh, I'm being a knob. Got to turn on the sexy Lisa. Look at Khaleesi! Khaleesi's in it. Hey, beauty. This is really cool because look, I'll show you what I've got here set up. It's these two little microphones. Look at this setup. So it protects it from the sounds of the computer. I want to explode. Oh, bollocks. Yeah, okay, careful of the microphone. Careful. Delicate act. Okay, careful. Hey, Laurie! Let's have some hellos. Hey! Hey, Hey, Julia. Hey, Phyllis! Hi, Steve. Hey, Open Eye Han. Wow, it's a big question again. Hey, Jason. Hey, Laurie. Your giggly butt today. You sound like me. Yeah, I'm going to have to take this ring off because I'm going to get it caught. Yeah, Laurie, I saw you dancing today on Nick's video, which I really enjoyed. Not just you dancing, but the video as well. Although you and your granddaughter, dancing was very cute. Super cute. Maybe you didn't know that Nick had edited you into his video dancing. He didn't ask me to dance for his video. Not sure why. Yeah, he asked you to do it. I know. It's super cute. Yeah, Nick's seen me dance. You aren't as important as me. Yeah. Your granddaughter is very cute. Very sweet. Okay, guys. So welcome to YouTube Live Broadcasting. That's a new name for it. If you want to subscribe to YouTube and get mails of every time I go live, this is how you do it. You simply go to my YouTube channel, which is Lisa Cairns. So just type it up there. Now you have to have an account with YouTube to do this and be signed in. Then you press on Lisa Cairns, then you press subscribe. And next to the subscribe comes up a little bell, and just make sure you click on that and say send notifications, and then you should get a mail every time I go live. If you want to go to my website and subscribe, you go to www.lisacairns.com, and then it should just come up on the first page. Subscribe. So you just put in your mail there, and then after that you go to your events, or you can go to events. You can go to any of them. I've got bookstore, although I've only got one book, but you can go to event, and that's not the events. That's back in December. You can go to events, and I've got my next event coming up is the end of April in France. So that's the end of April. I think the 28th and 29th, or 29th and 30th. I think 28th, 29th. But you can find that on my website. And then also that's in Paris. And then after that, I have a retreat in June from about the 16th, I think, of June, for 1 week in a very, very beautiful place. I love it. And I know I always show the same videos, but it's because I forget to record new ones. But this is a video I really like. Unfortunately, it's not got the sound on it. I'm not sure why. But this is an owner. She's just seeing through the blinds that her dog is digging a hole in the garden. So she decides to go out and see the dog. And as soon as she opens the door, you can see her opening the door now. She goes to open the door and poof. Yeah, that's done it. He made sure that's covered. And then this one also kills me. It was this little video. Whoop. It's when you slap your girlfriend's booty. Very nice booty she's got there. You always must make sure you slap your dog's booty. You don't want a jealous dog. Okay. Well, if that doesn't make you laugh, I don't know what will. Everyone's seen those videos 100 times. I keep meaning to like come online and have it set up, all these new videos every week, but then I forget. This is funny watching the chat. So hi Patrick, hi Laurie, hi Joss, hi Ramona, hi Mansour, hi Tanya. Hi Alexandra. Hi Cheetan. Hi Jessie. Hi Law. I loved your story you sent to me the other day, Law. Hi Renate. Hey, Super Chat is a fun new way to monetize your live streams. So it's saying turn on Super Chat, monetize. Money for Lisa. Viewers can purchase highlighted chat messages to stand out during your streams, and the best part, you earn a share of their purchases. But why would somebody want their chat to stand out? They're like, look at what I'm saying, how funny it is, and then they pay for it to be highlighted. Not now, we're not going to turn that on. I can see myself on YouTube and I'm sitting here and I'm like, and I can see it back like I'm looking around at the camera and not moving my head. Because it's a couple of seconds delayed, like 20 seconds delayed. Okay. So non-duality. So all there is, guess what, is this. This is all there is. This is all that's important, what's happening. There only needs to be a surrender to this. An absolute surrender. And it's not your personal surrender because there's no one there that can do it. But collapsing in of that illusion that believes it is doing it. And then life is one flow. This flow of love. Another way to say it that's more poetic, but just understand that no words are true and that everything that I say has to contradict itself because you can't find truth. You could say is all you need to do is follow the heart or follow love, but knowing that there is nobody that could follow love. I know that sounds like a total contradiction, but it's just a way of trying to say it's all about this, and this is love. So when I say you need to follow love, I'm actually trying to say you just need to collapse back into the heart of things, which is what's happening. That's the only thing that ever happens is what happens. You can't ever escape this. You can't ever run away from it. You can't ever get out of it. You can run as much as you like to try and escape what is, and you'll still end up with what is. You can climb Mount Everest. You can go and sit on a cloud I always used to want to do that as a child. I used to want to get my dad's ladder and sit on a cloud. You can buy 1,000 houses. You can have the most beautiful dog in the world. You can have all the money. Live in nature, whatever your dream is, and you'll never escape what's happening. You'll never escape the heart, which is, the heart is this. And this is love. What makes it feel not like love is division, is the idea that you're living in relationship to this, which isn't true. There is only this. There is no you that's experiencing this. There is only experiencing, and experiencing is everything and not a thing. Life is experiencing itself by the appearances. Everything is conscious of itself. And it's looking through these human forms. But what's happened in these human forms, because we think in a dual way, and dual means opposites, so this and that, good, bad, small, short, no, small, tall, big, little, right, wrong, we believe we're found in the world of opposites, which is something we've made up. And we believe we're found in you and me, and I'm here in relationship with you, which really the word you and me is a functioning of this body, just like sight is and sound is. The ability to speak is a functioning. It isn't reality. But in the human world, thoughts and speaking have become reality. So you really believe you are someone you can describe and someone that's moving in time, even though what's always here is presence, is what's happening, and everything you think goes into time and is imagination. We still believe that the imagination is true and correct. It's not true. Waking up can drive you crazy though, because you keep trying to find truth in words, and there is no truth in words. There's no truth in description. They can be helpful, they can point you to what you're not, but then you can't find what you are in words. But they can kind of point to and say, you're not this, you're not that. And tools and words have always meant to be a tool for humanity, to help us to invent things, to create things, to do things. I love words. I love speaking. I'm actually quite quiet, although that's not true. I love to speak, but I spend a lot of time by myself, so I don't get the opportunity to speak, so I just make sounds at Khaleesi. I tend not to use words because it's a pointless affair. She doesn't really understand them. So we just use squeaks and sounds. Like, she understands the energy more behind it. You see there, I was just telling her how beautiful she was. And she was like, yeah, I know. But what I love about speaking is it just comes out. It was so funny today. I really made myself cry with laughter, although maybe it's not funny to other people. So I was speaking to this lady, and we were speaking about taxes, and it just came. I just went, I won't speak to you anymore because it's incredibly boring. I meant taxes is boring, but I don't know if she got that. And it just makes me laugh. It just comes out. This is when you speak and you don't speak. Is it just comes out, like it just comes. I think she did get what I meant, because as she's walking off, she was like, "Oh my god, taxes are so boring." Like she was laughing. And it really disarms people, actually, when you just spontaneously speaking, when you're not speaking with an agenda, even though the body has agenda. So I have an agenda to be liked, like I like being liked, and I have an agenda to get on and communicate. So the body has agenda. It's not wanting to create war or hatred. So, but it's just like it just dances. It just does its thing, and you're not getting involved. And obviously, I'm acting out past conditioning. So if you're a therapist out there that's saying yes, or somebody that believes that you have to get rid of all conditioning, you can't get rid of all conditioning. You're always acting out your old conditioning, and that conditioning's always being updated as well. But it's not about not acting out. You have to be as you are, with all your frailties and imperfections, and see the perfection in all of them. You just act it out, and then someone says this was that, or that was that, or you did this because of that, and then you're like, yeah, oh well. And the more that you just become yourself and just are yourself, you won't act out of nastiness, or what I call evilness. Nastiness comes when the person has an agenda, so it believes that love is in the flow, and it believes that the other person is stopping it, and then it tries to do things in order to manipulate that flow. This is when nastiness happens. This is when we get mean as humans, because it becomes so important, everything. And you feel, and you really hate the other person, because you feel they're taking away your essence, they're taking away your love, so you have such annoyance and anger because of them. And then you act out something from that. You act out trying to make them feel bad about themselves, or put them down, or try and entrap them into something. So when I'm just looking down at the side, I'm looking at myself, just so you can understand that Lisa is just as imperfect as everyone else, just as vain. So I'm just looking at myself now, and I'm enjoying the flowers that are behind me, and I'm enjoying that the camera has an autofocus, so it's focusing on my face, and then it's slightly blurred behind. Looks very nice. I'm appreciating what a beautiful job I did at decorating the room with limitations. I'm on the 5th floor, and so I had to get a modular sofa, one that broke down because it's too big to carry up the 5th floor. But I have to say, it looks pretty hot. Incredibly hard though. It's not soft like you'd think it'd be. If you try to jump on it, you just stay like boom. You don't bounce back. Oh, the wrong way to look at Skype. Okay. 30. Okay, looks very good. And now I know how it was so easy for you to go up the hills in Spain to get to the meeting room from the bottom. You got 5 floors every day, not just once every day. I mean, every time I go shopping, I have to take it into consideration. Yeah, I don't have a lift. So hey, Tim C. Hi Lisa, happy days to you. I've been singing jazz. Bebop, do boo bop, whoop whoop, do dee bop, whoop today. Also a strange, addictive, wild mouse language of complete babble. It's so much fun to be free of fear, to sing a game from spirit. Also my driving has become tame, and I'm accepting all the incidents along the way as well. No problem. Really turned a corner now. Thanks for your direction from your videos, etc. Much love. Time for a new band, I think. Let me read it again. Bebop, dee doo, whoop whoop, dee boo, bee boo woo. I like it. Hi Keith. Hi Lisa. I'm getting tired and bored of non-duality, but still I find watching your live streams. Yeah, that's because I'm the only speaker that's not boring. That's why. Stay tuned to me. You watch the other teachers, you're... Hi Renate. Hi Christopher. Lisa, do you have satsang today? Yes, but I just call them talks. Yes. We'll just put yes there. Recently, Muji managed to awaken some folk by asking the right questions. In that sense, I'd like to try talking to you. Okay, if you want to talk, then you can call. Okay, open eye Han. I'm just going to do open eye Han's question because he's been sending a lot. Hello, lovely one. This will be a peaceful message. No arrogance at all. Good. Very good, open eye Han. And I try to express love. I would like you to see both sides of the coin. This will be the second question about questioning. So I think you do not understand. Probably. I'm not liberated. So you think. I have no trust in life. So you think. And the liberated speaker always says the opposite. Yes. They embobble me to trust in this. Yeah, I would just replace embobbled with they encourage me to trust this. And you are one of them. Actually, you seem a very ideal piece of the speakers to me. You seem a very ideal piece of the speakers to me. Well, I try. I was speaking with another one too, but you seem more extreme. And I will try another one. But believe me, I will not believe a word of you all until I can say those by myself. When you can say it by yourself, you won't believe it either. You'll see that there's no belief in words. That words aren't it. That they're not true. They're not it at all. They're pointing out what's false, but they don't leave you as something that's true. So now I'd like to ask you, and regardless of what you think about it, you are the most lovely creature what I know on earth, and that is a privilege to hear you when you unleash yourself. Ah, well, That's quite a big title to live up to. I keep trying to record myself angry, but I live alone and I just can't find myself getting angry. I think if I were to live with someone, I would get more angry. Oh well. But still, I will question all of your words and I will doubt all of your actions. That is my job here. Is it? That is the only thing. Oh, Peter, I'll just finish speaking with Open Eye Hun, and then I'll call you. But I can do that just because I care about what you say. That is the only thing what's the separate can do. Anyway, yes. And believe me, I always jitter and cheer for you. I know, Open Eye Han. I know I can be harsh on you. If you will win... Oh, I'll call you in a minute, Peter. If you will win, then I won. I wish that you convinced me I am with you, not with me, because I am a bad company. It is strange setup because I hate God, but I love you, and you love God. So I got curious of what God's feelings are. Use the love for me then. Use the love for me, because actually I think that I think that most non-duality teachers are nothing teachers, but I'm an everything teacher. I think I'm the teacher of the I am. And it's not so much about intellectual teachings with me, although I can deliver them sometimes, but it's more that you feel me, love me, use my image, but just know it's not me. Because what you're seeing in me is you're seeing someone that, although I'm human, I'm manipulative, I have my little games, I wear my mascara, I paint my hair, I wear my nice little jumper. I've set up my room nicely, so I'm an animal too. I move towards pleasure and away from pain. I'm acting really innocently. So it's coming out, and it's not coming out through this filter that we learn as a child to be someone. So it's coming out very innocently. And when you see me and you fall in love with that, that's what you love. It's not actually my personality that you love. That's what you love, because it helps you remember that in yourself. You long for that. You long to go home just to be yourself. Because when the human becomes fully itself, there is a going home. There's no more a divide of believing that you are someone in time. There's just spontaneous action. And in that spontaneous action, there is no divided reality. So this is a tantric practice, which I did and worked out by myself, but I then later went on to find out that it's an actual tantric practice that they use, and it's not really a practice because there's no one there to practice it, so you can't really say it's a practice. It's simply a description of what could happen. So I will describe what could happen, and maybe your body mind mechanism will take it on. So you see Lisa and you love her, and it's not that you love her because she's sweet and nice, because you've also seen me be an arsehole. I hung up on you in the middle of a conversation one time. And trust me, I can shout, not very often, but I do shout. I came from a shouting family, and if someone really annoys me, which isn't very often, I shout and I swear. I shout and I swear when I'm in the car, and if somebody cuts me up, and I might even put my finger up to them, like that. So it's not that you like the nice side of me. What you like is the innocence that you see, because it reminds you of yourself. So use that and imagine that to be you. So it's like you see this love, you feel this love for an outside creature, this outside being, and then flip it. That love you see out there is your heart. It's inside you. It's not outside, separate from you. You long to be like me or have me, whatever it is that you long for, I don't know, or to like me. But see that I am your heart. What you're loving in me is your heart. I'm just reminding you of your heart. And they've been doing this for thousands of years. And I worked it out, and I've told this many times before, when I was a teenager and I was really, really suffering. Like really suffering. I had some difficult stuff as a teenager to deal with. And I, not just like getting bullied, or although being bullied's really terrible, but not just having an argument at school or something. So I really had to deal with a lot of things as a child, and very difficult things. And I got into this habit. I also lived a very privileged life. My parents had enough money. They're not like super rich, they're just middle class, but I never had poverty to worry about. And my mum used to take me to shows, theatre shows, and I fell in love with them, and musicals particularly. And I just used to fall in love with it. So we'd go, and we'd obsessively go. So we'd get onto a musical and we'd go and see it like 10 times. So one of my favourites when I was a kid was Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Which is... And it's such a beautiful story. It's a religious story. It's just got some really beautiful songs in it. It's by a director called Andrew Lloyd Webber. By the way, I'm just being paid for advertisements by saying all this. I just am slipping it in, like Ellen does. It's a joke. So yeah, and I used to really love it. And so we used to go and see it. We used to... Wherever it was on, wherever there was a different production, we'd see the same productions. And I can't remember how often we went, but maybe once a month. My mum would take me to see it, and I just would just fall in love with it. I would just be in absolute awe. Like Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat just was so magical to me, to be in this theatre and like listening to this live band and this dancing and this singing. I found it heaven. And it would just make me high. And I wanted to be an actress, or I wanted to be in theatre because I loved it so much. I was obsessed with it. I used to go to like 5 drama clubs a week. I was so obsessed with drama and theatre and music. I used to play the guitar and the drums and the trombone. I was never very good at music, but I loved it. I was singing, I was terrible. And my mum used to have this big stereo with these headphones in our lounge, and we're not really allowed to sit in, even now in my parents' house, the lounge is only for when guests come over, you're not allowed to sit in there. But I would sneak in and I would put on these huge headsets and I would listen to these songs that I liked from all these different musicals. She had tapes maybe back then. Or actually, I think she had a lot of records. I can't remember how I listened to it. And I loved it. I would listen again and again. And then as I got to a teenager, so when I was like 12 or 13, I would do it. And then I would imagine having the most perfect boyfriend or girlfriend. I also liked women. I still haven't told my parents this, so I'm always a little bit hush-hush about it. But I also liked women. So I would imagine the perfect boyfriend or girlfriend, depending on what phase I was in. And I would just imagine every quality about them, like everything I liked in them. So like their strengths, their vulnerability, their joy, their sadness. And it was like I imagined that, and I would imagine like having this immense love affair with them, like being absolutely in love. And then I would imagine, it was different times, but sometimes I would imagine like them hugging me, and then I would put cushions around me as if they were hugging me. And it sounds really sad in one way. Like I remember telling my friends and they all laughed at me. And it was a result of that in my household there was so many problems, I think, that it pushed me into doing this practice. And it was like every night I would do it. And then what began to happen, which was already happening when I listened to music and when I listened to music, listened to the musicals, is I began to feel complete And the more and more complete I became with this person that I imagined, it was like I just expanded into this love. And then suddenly there was no more me loving anything. There was just this expansive love. And through that, I actually think it then most probably went on to screw up all my relationships because I didn't understand it. But through that, I knew that the lover was never outside of me. I knew. Because I remember thinking, well, and this was without any spiritual teaching, but I remember thinking, well, the love is inside me because I can experience the love without them. So that love I want from them doesn't belong to them. So I knew that. And then also what it did was actually when I had the relationships, they were a disappointment because I knew what love was. And I couldn't find that in a relationship. So if you want to, and if it's meant to be, use my image in that way, but know what you're doing is you're actually calling the I am. You're actually calling love the heart of being. Because there's you that feels like it needs completing by the other. Or there's you that imagines your love is outside, and you just use that and you see that is you, that's your essence. It's this divide, this illusion that's made it feel like you're not that love and the love is outside of you, which isn't true at all. You are that love. And I'm happy to be used like that, but use it with a responsibility like that. Like, that also means that you don't attempt to come and have a relationship with me because that's got nothing to do with it. It's not, like, as soon as you're attempting to keep me, you'll lose that love. Like it's not me, my physical form, that you're falling in love with, it's your essence. But if my form represents that to you, then use that form. And you'll glow. And you'll start remembering it's your heart. I just represent your heart in the dream. Not because I'm cute or because I got cute as in, like, cute means different things in different language, but cute because of the personality or because of the way I look or because of the way I dress. Even though your mind might say it's that, that's not it. What you're remembering is that innocence. Because when I'm not cute, and this is why I really want to show you me being angry, you'll see the innocence in that anger, and you'll see it's not to do with the personality. It's not to do with being perfect or not being conditioned or not having these feelings. It's to do with me reflecting back to you that stillness, that essence of what you are. This empty looking, this looking that knows everything, and then this love of being, this presence, this isness. They're both combined actually, they're not separate. But sometimes they talk about them as if they're separate. And I think I've just come to the absolute surrender that I'm a love teacher, an everything teacher. I think Lisa has been a little bit afraid of being that teacher because I think that's the most intense teacher. The nothing part is intense, the seeing of the nothing, but the actual explosion of that love into everything, that's the crazy part. It's so beautiful though. Yakataka, pakata baba. Okay, Peter. Hey, Peter.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey.
There is not much light in this room, but I hope this will be enough.
There's not much light. Oh, it is okay. I don't mind if I can see you or not.
And
You might.
there is
You.
somehow some kind of delay between the video and Skype call.
Oh yeah.
You were still talking when you
Yeah.
called.
Yeah. There's about 20 seconds delay.
Okay, so I was in tune with Muji's live satsang talks in Rishikesh, India, and he was really able to awaken some people by asking the right questions.
Yeah.
He was somehow directing their minds toward the place or field or position to look from specific angle to realize selflessness. And some of them were really claiming their awakenings, and he agreed with what they found. Moji said, okay, I see you really recognized that selflessness, and be it, live it, enjoy it, whatever, just they were able to awaken.
Yeah.
Just by asking the right questions. Now I knew there was some sort of awakening without meditation. You can awaken by, let's say, right thinking, but this was something extraordinary, and I liked it. So if you think you can do something similar, which you doesn't necessarily have to do, but we can try. I am not actually so much so of beginner, but I am 5 or 6, 7 years into this. I'm Buddhist, and I know some concepts and some terms and expressions. I'm active student and Dharma practitioner. I also, like you were Buddhist for 5 years or so, but you don't have to necessarily use that kind of language.
I feel there's quite high expectations here.
Since this is so rare opportunity to talk to you, I'd also like to tell you how awesome, how much amazed I am by your natural behavior about yourself and life. It's I use it I'm used on teachers who act serious, who act calm, who act, how would I say, like stone Buddha or something, like
Yeah.
like real example. Okay, they set up themselves as an example to others.
Yeah.
But you are really natural, and it's kind of liberating to use you for example in life, because when I want last piece of cake, I will really say it when you say I want it, or make a joke, or
Yeah. You know when people behave like that, when people behave like the Buddha, the image of the Buddha, I get the sense, although I could be wrong, and I'm so open to being wrong, because it could be personality. Like everybody's personality is different, and they might have just had really quiet parents that they grew up with, so they might just be a really quiet person. So there could also be that. But I sometimes get the idea that some people are trying to act calm because they think that's what enlightenment looks like. And they want to act like the image of the Buddha. And that's part of a process. That's part of awakening something in you. And that's a really beautiful part. But the Buddha image is only meant to represent one side of life. It's to represent the stillness in which we've forgotten. It's not actually meant to represent what it's like in manifestation. In manifestation, it's meant to be like Kali, who's dancing on Shiva's lap. So Shiva sits there stilly, And Kali dances. Kali is the life. She dances on his lap. So, but the image of the Buddha is meant to represent what we've forgotten, that this is stillness looking out. So right now, what is it that looks out of your eyes? That is where the Buddha is in the one that's perceiving reality. So what or who is it that looks out of your eyes?
You mean who is perceiving the perceiver?
Who is perceiving Lisa right now? In your direct experience, who's looking out at her? That's where the Buddha is. That's where that still image of the Buddha is, not as the way the human behaves.
I don't know.
That's a really great answer. So okay, so now just shut your eyes and let's do hearing. So just put your attention, knowing that there is no you that can put your attention on hearing.
All right. I'm listening.
You're so cute. You are listening. So put your attention on hearing. Now, there is sound that's moving. But can you also perceive that the hearing and the perception of the hearing is absolute stillness? So there is the sound which is moving, so my voice and all the other sounds you're hearing, and then the actual act of hearing, of perceiving that hearing, is not moving.
Am I in some way one with source of sound?
Yeah. So now shut your eyes again. I'm so bossy. Can you find the difference in the experience, in the actual experience, between the sound of my voice and your hearing? Can you find the divide, the place where your hearing ends and my voice begins? In actual experience?
No,
it's endless. Hearing is endless, just like looking, just like feeling. Perception, the senses, is endless because perception is looking through the senses. Hearing is infinite. Seeing is infinite. Feeling is infinite. And what I mean by that is it's not divided.
Divided from what? From me? From
anything.
My sense of self?
From anything. Hearing is an endless stream. You can't find the beginning of hearing either, can you? I'm being very leadatory there. Can you? But just see if you can.
In some way, I'm listening from the time when I was born.
Yes. And seeing from the time you were born. It's endless. This still presence is perceiving endlessly. And it's all about, like, this is why I go through phases, and when I'm speaking with people, of bringing them back in contact with their body. Because sensing and the sensed is the same. And so it's like the attention goes back into the body, and in the attention being in what's happening. So it's like everything that's happening comes back to life. You see, there is no inside or outside world. You can do it with feelings. You'll notice that feelings or emotions don't start and stop anywhere.
Okay, I understand oneness.
Yeah.
There is no separation between this body limitation of skin from the rest of the world. I understand that, but I understand it only intellectually. I'd like to directly see it. I'd like to experience it.
Yeah.
If that's possible, if that's not too much advanced or...
I feel like there's high expectations here.
No, not too high. Perhaps stream entry would be nice, if you know what stream entry is.
Yeah.
Okay, that will be nice, and I am somehow close to it, but whatsoever I expect nothing from the mind. Mind can do whatever you want.
Well, the stream entry part is really seeing that perception is always present And those thoughts that say they understand it intellectually are being perceived. They're not the perceiver. But I wouldn't worry about it, and I wouldn't try too hard. I would just keep listening to non-duality, and it will begin to become clear. I wouldn't think about it too hard. Just let it naturally occur. Luckily, I didn't have the ability to think too hard about things because my mind's too creative. So I would hear these things and I wouldn't hold on to them too tightly. It's
so this
imperception.
energy behind the eyes you were describing earlier, how does it vanish? How does it?
It just, in apparent time, it just begins to dissolve. Sometimes it's a big explosion. I had some big explosions, but it dissolves back into everything.
And do you feel there is nothing at all, nothing else to understand?
There is this energetic movement back to stillness that is movement. This energetic expansion and back into everything, and this love. Like that love that I was talking about earlier isn't found in time, it's who you are. And when that expansion or that dissolving happens, then there is the remembering of this love. But don't worry about it. Don't do. Sorry.
You mean love like life itself?
Sorry.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Which part? Just tell me what you're confused on.
It doesn't matter. Drop it. Let's go on.
Nice. But I think that's enough for today. But just keep on listening to non-duality, that which resonates with you. So when your heart is touched by non-duality, listen and just let it come, let it move over you. Like if you're sitting at the sea edge, like the Mediterranean, you're sitting there and the ocean is just going and pulsing over your feet, back and forwards. Just let it keep doing this, the non-duality. And it will begin to be seen. Don't try too hard. Just listen for the love of it. And everything I'm saying now, even though it sounds very prescriptive, no, there's just descriptions of what could happen. Oh. I send you lots of love, Peter. Thank you so much for calling and talking with me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Lots of love. Bye. I have to go to the toilet. I have the solution. This is from Ramona. You do? Wow. I'll live with you for a week. Oh, for the sake of making you angry. And I'll instantly tape it. What do you think? I'll destroy stuff, wake you up at 4 playing the trumpet, steal Khaleesi's food. Yeah, I'm very protective over my computer, so I might not even let you in my house now. You told me to destroy stuff. If I annoy someone, I'm always like, where's the computers? Quick, the computers! Love you, my love. I love you too. I can't say your name because it's in Hebrew. No, Russian. I'm not sure. Hey, Jason. Hello, Lisa. Is the stone in your ring lapis? I don't know. And great work you are doing. I appreciate how pointing to truth comes through you. I'm always amused how it comes through the different appearing persons. Yeah, personas. And don't get too confused about the persona versus the message. Like, I heard it called before, like the personality cult. Like, all that's important when you're listening to a speaker is that resonance. Like, don't worry too much about the way they speak or if they speak differently. If you just are fixated on there's only one message and only one way of speaking, that's more intellectual. It's when your heart sings at the speaker. Hey, Chris. Hi, Lisa. Is there different stages of enlightenment, or is it always sudden? It can only ever be instantaneous because presence is instantaneous. In the appearance of the person, so in the fake reality, so in the illusion, there can seem to be a dissolving, or as if the stages of recognition. But ultimately, it can only ever be instantaneous because all there is this. The person doesn't exist. Hey, Hank. Yes, you are a love teacher. So wonderful. How do you tell someone in a relation he is not the only one without Hank hurting them too much? Well, I don't know about that. I think it's always best to be honest, as you can be. But it's a very difficult situation because the whole of society supports monogamy. So it's difficult. Those that speak against monogamy are always seen as bad, sluts, naughty, destroyers in our society. So it's a very difficult one. But honesty is the best, and moving back to the flow. Just moving back to the heart. Hey, Susan. Hi, Lisa. Is fully awakening worth it? Ultimately, there is no one to awaken, so it's not for anyone. But yes, this is freedom. Oh my God, yes. To feel absolutely at home. You've said before that it's radically different, but you'd rather be awake than asleep. The reason that I don't speak too positively about awakening is because I'm trying to be sensitive a little, to not be rubbing it in people's faces. I'm just aware of the microphones. And to not create up such a longing for it. But yes, this is all life is about, and it's about moving to home. To really appreciate what's happening rather than to be wishing your life away. That's what it's about. In every moment. To really appreciate it as it is, but for no one, an absolute surrender to what it is. Even if it's crying, even if it's sadness, even if it's destruction. Why is that? Is there no right or wrong? Then why is it so important to everyone to awake? Because life wants to know itself as the awake human, and the cycle starts again from the beginning. I know this is a limited person asking this, and these questions are always backwards, but please humour me with a response. I suppose I'm asking because there is a fear of letting this personality drop, and also disbelief. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very limited perspective coming from thinking, so it's too hard for me to even go there. And you're always going to believe and not believe until it's really seen. That's the way the mind does. It believes, it disbelieves, it loves, it hates, it likes, it dislikes, it's good, it's bad. It goes from one to the other. It's confused, it's sane. Hi, Anna. Hi, good evening. First time on live. Welcome, Anna. Though I've been watching all the recordings, I'm wondering if you can talk something about yoga or other mind-body practices and how important they are in experiencing non-duality. Thanks for putting yourself out there. Nothing will bring you to non-duality because you don't exist. But if there is the flow to do yoga, then that's important because that's what's happening. If there is the flow to do therapy, if there is the flow to visit past lives, then that's important because that's what's happening. But nobody reaches non-duality because that would imply there is subject to object. So it's not about you doing something to getting to something, but if yoga touches you, then that's what you have to do because that's what the flow is. What has to happen, even though it's not somebody doing this, is there has to be a movement back to the heart, to the flow of things. There is this flow in life, and it's not intellectual. Normally we're working through the intellect and we're only doing stuff because we've been taught it intellectually, that yoga is good for us, it will make us healthy. And there's nothing wrong with that idea, and that's a nice basis. But if you do it and you're hating it, you hate every moment of it, then that's not flow. That's not love. There has to also be the love for it. So I eat healthily most of the time. I also enjoy eating unhealthily, but most of the time I eat healthy and I eat vegan or vegetarian, but mostly vegan. But I love it. I love beans. I love chips. I love veggie sausages. I eat my food with such passion. If you ever see me, I'm like a I was going to say I'm like a trough, but that doesn't make sense. But I devour my food very quickly because I really enjoy it. And because I'm vegan, it then comes out really quickly as well. The funny thing is when I make these jokes, is if I actually had you sitting in front of me, I maybe wouldn't make them, because if I sensed you were more serious, I would respect that and I would reflect that seriousness back a bit. I'll call you in a moment, Ariel. I just finished with Anna. I'll call you after I've spoken to Anna. Yes. Also, I just joined, so I'm not sure if you were already talking about it. Also seems like the current caller is asking the same kind of thing. I've been contemplating if practices are necessary. I feel like I needed them to get to where I am now, but as of now, I can totally comprehend the idea you present. Did practice help you achieve this? Will they continue to awaken me? But that's what's got to be seen through, the idea that there is a you there that can awaken. Who are you? You see, you believe that these practices are adding something to you in time, but right here, right now, there is nobody that's looking at Lisa. There is nobody that's doing anything. There is simply looking and experiencing happening by no one, from no one. This is nothing experiencing itself as everything. But you're imagining that you exist in time and these practices can help you in time. That's the old way of seeing things. That's the identified way of seeing things. You do these practices because they touch you. So I used to do the practice of feeling and speaking out my emotions. But by the time I started doing that, I didn't believe it was going to awaken me. I just didn't see any other way of being. It's like when the emotions came, they were so strong. That is what felt like the best thing to do, was to go and listen, lay in my bed, let them speak, let them come out. And that's what I wanted to do. It's not that I forced myself to do it. I wanted to do that. I didn't want to fake it and pretend to be nice to someone when I was feeling uncomfortable, or sit at a dinner party and subtly bitch at my partner because I was in a bad mood. I wanted to go to my bedroom and feel it 100%. And be allowed to express it and say what it wanted to say. I didn't practice it because I thought I was going to get enlightened, but I can see how important that was now, because what was happening was I was surrendering to the sensations and feelings, but I didn't do it because I felt like it would get me somewhere. I'd been so hammered by speakers, I just didn't look at it like that anymore. I didn't think I'm going to meditate to get somewhere. I meditated because I enjoyed it. I remember I used to like to listen to speakers when I was in bed at night and when I was going to sleep. And I remember I used to get in and I'd be so excited to meditate, to put my attention into the body and to feel everything and to meditate. Or when I'd get home from work, I'd be excited to do that. So practice it's following the flow. That's what's important. So you just have to find that flow, but know that it's not you that finds it. Know that when you find the flow, you're disappearing. You're hearing God's message, which is yourself. You're hearing your message. I know it's so super scary what I'm saying, because we've always been taught how to be, what we should be doing. So we go to these teachers that teach us practices and we listen to them and we think, that's going to get us there. If I follow them, if I trust them, that will get me there. But it's coming back to your source, your own expression, becoming truly yourself. But thanks so much for your question, Anna. That was beautiful. Thank you. This is from Open Ihan, who I was speaking to earlier. Thank you for your answer again, but you are not fair. You did not read my whole question. And I still would love you to do it. I will listen to this answer quite a few times, because you seem to speak about a thing what was totally unexpected to me. But in thinking I am at my former question still, I would like to hear the answer for that. And I have more deep in the shit question as well. Will you not answer those if I ask? Did I not answer it all? Be happy forever. You've put at the end, there is no question now after all. I promised a nice message and I got confused what I'm allowed to question here, I hope. You are always right about everything. And sorry for bad sound. Peter. Am I? I'm always right about everything. Well, when I next have a boyfriend or a lover, I will take a picture of that and show them it every time I want my way. You are always right about everything. So says Peter. Hi Lisa, I need to ask, am I responsible for anything? Does this creation stop ever? Life, this is endless. It doesn't start or stop. There is no person that could be responsible for anything, but this body, mind mechanism has responsibilities. I have the responsibility of looking after boop, 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 of paying the rent, of putting food in the fridge, being on time for live stream, but it's nobody's responsibility. But yet the body has responsibility, or destiny, or things to do. Just like the flower has the destiny to grow towards the sun, the body has these destinies to fulfill, and if it doesn't, there will be consequences to that. But there is nobody that has responsibility. There's nobody in there that has choice or free will. There's the appearance of choice of free will, but it belongs to no one. Hi, Hank. Thank you, Lisa. Honest in relationship is also difficult sometimes because the truth can hurt the partner, especially in the beginning when I think I need to spare someone suffering by not telling them the truth, the love of the people and I feel attracted to them. Or is this just a weak excuse for me? I don't know. I don't know these things. We'd have to talk more intimately, Hank. Hey, Ariel. So nice to see you.
Hey. Nice to see you. How's it going?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. I think I'm having a sense memory of last year when I was in Ibiza.
Yeah, it's about this time last year, or maybe a couple of months. It was May. No, April. It was April.
Like April, I think.
Yeah. Nice.
So I just want to settle in for a second.
Yeah.
Because I have a question, but I feel like my ego is trying to take control. So, over the past year, the love for non-duality has continued, and sometimes I want to ask a question, like I want to call in, but then it just dissolves. Like, what would the question even be? Like,
Yeah.
I don't believe the question.
Yeah.
But then another phase takes over where I get swept up in my career and I need to create more things and I need to establish myself more and my identity more in the world so that I can be more successful. And I have a business partner who's really focused on the expansion and the progress of my identity also. And of course, depending on your beliefs, that can just be a projection of myself I'm putting on that person too. So I guess I'm just feeling really yanked back and forth right now in myself between the love of non-duality, which feels like a real dissolving when I'm in it, then this big, strong, like the worldly identity making that also takes me, but hurts.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe in it at the time.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being creative in your work. Like, we love to create. That's part of being human. We're creators. We love that. The creativity. So there's nothing wrong in that side. It's when the suffering is, and I know that you know this, it's when you, not even consciously, but the energy is looking for completion in that creativity. That's when it hurts. It can be exciting, so it can have highs, like you feel like you're nearly there or you're going to get it. But it hurts ultimately because you can never get anything outside of yourself. But the creativity, we love to create. That's part of being human. Sometimes people get into this message and they think it's about sitting on the sofa or not doing anything. But actually, we love activity and creating as humans. We love to build, to think, to imagine things.
Yeah, that feels so organic.
Yeah.
No matter what feels dominant inside me, creativity is, well, it's more organic even when I'm not success focused, I would say.
Yeah.
Things bloom more easily. I have I guess in traditional psychotherapeutic terms, it would be called codependence.
Yeah.
Like the tendency inside me to, even if I don't believe someone else's ideology, feel the need to satisfy their what they describe as their need for completion.
Yeah.
So I find that energy very hard to resist when someone else has a strong desire, even if in my heart I'm like, I'm so rich and I have a sense that it's all happening.
Yeah.
I don't feel lack in my daily life.
Yeah.
I feel incredible abundance, but
Yeah.
there's almost like a vacuum-like energy that pulls me into other people's
Desires
that as they relate to me and them needing things from me.
Yeah, I see. There can be in the positive light that can be really beautiful to respond to somebody's desire when it's not identified. Like I'm just thinking about those times when you resonate with someone and someone gets excited by something or gets excited by an idea, and you have an open heart to be able to take that on. That can be a beautiful thing. It always comes. So what I'm trying to say is, don't give yourself a hard time for being codependent, because I see there's always positive in everything, like always positive in everything. So and sometimes with psychology we beat ourselves up and we use it as but also to have that ability to resonate with somebody's other desire and to follow that passion. And I know that's not, codependency is a lot more complicated than that, but it all comes down to, if you believe love is giving them that, if you believe love is giving them their desire, then this is when you compromise yourself and you start doing things out of your flow in order to satisfy them, and this is when you hurt. But actually resonating with their desire, I know I do. So like when somebody has a strong desire and I touch into that, I find it very enjoyable. Not if it's coming from like a strong seeking energy, but like if you tap into their creativity or you tap into their sexual energy or something, it's really a very enjoyable thing if you are feeling that way towards them. But when you begin to feel that doing that completes you, this is when you sell yourself. And this is what hurts us. This is the pain, is that you sell yourself to be a certain way, to step out of your flow in order to make the other happy. But you can tap into their desire. So if they have a desire to build a house and you wouldn't like have that desire ordinarily, but you get into that excitement, like I love it. Like somebody starts telling me, I'm so susceptible to people's suggestions. So somebody starts telling me they love gardening and trees, and I can so get into the passion. Like I'll suddenly next be wanting a tree or wanting to create a garden. It's just, the suffering always comes from believing that your I am is found there. And what I mean by I am is that love, that when you're by yourself, that abundance that you feel, that fullness that you feel is in someone else. And it's just seeing that. It's not necessarily not responding to their desire or not being excited by their desire. It's seeing that nothing completes you. Nothing, which is so profound. Not a thing completes you. So it's here all the time. If it's a thing, then you're always going to suffer. And with the psychology, like I'm sure that psychology terms like could be labelled as lots of different things. So it's important to understand these things and to understand the character, to be a more healthy character. But don't allow that to not see your positive in all things, because there's always positive in everything.
Yeah, and I think there's also a little like switcheroo I do where I pull a tarot card every once in a while, which I find to be like freakishly right on all the time. But I pulled a tarot card 2 days in a row. I pulled the 4 of Clubs, which is about like, it's kind of about like hidden self-interest. And when you're wanting to, sorry if there's like tarot experts listening, I'm getting this wrong, but this is my interpretation.
And that's all that's important. It's your interpretation.
Yeah, like when you kind of become covetous of yourself, and I think like...
I don't understand what you mean, covetous. Like hiding yourself or hiding your desire?
Well, I think sometimes I, through the excuse of spirituality, will close myself to someone else and become guarded against them, when the opening energy or the heart energy would be to move towards them and their energy.
And why do you move away?
Yeah, like even the idea of codependence is, there's kind of a story in there that I'm a victim of someone else's power.
Yeah.
And I therefore need to protect myself from it. And I feel like what this card was reflecting to me was that there's also a real falsity in that story.
Yeah.
In the idea that I even need to protect myself.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. It's also seeing that part of life is to fall and tumble and to be hurt. Like, that's part of life. And to know these games, to understand the psychological terms around it, and to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, and this is really important to help the body balance out. But also at the same time, if that's got to act out again, that's got to act out again. Is there something else that's got to be learned there? We learn our most from falling, from tumbling, from tripping over. It's the other half of life. I'm not saying do or don't do it. I'm not saying go and live with a power-hungry person. I'm not suggesting either way. But this is sometimes the problem with psychology. It's really, this is beyond the intellect, and it's so important learning all these things, and I'm so pro it. But following your heart is way beyond the intellect, and life is mysterious, and life has opposites. It has growth and it has destruction. So everything that grows will be destroyed. Everything. So the relationship will bloom and then it will peter out. We can't save ourselves from this movement. The suffering comes from trying to save ourselves, but it doesn't mean that you put yourself in stupid situations. I'm not implying that either. Just be very, when the situation presents itself, just really deeply go inside and see what the true motivation is. Really give it some space to see what your heart is actually saying.
What the true motivation inside me is.
Yeah, and what the heart is really saying beyond that, like what it's wanting to do, and then see all these other ideas and just go really quietly inside, and go down to the most is innate the right? No, not innate. The most initial, I'm trying to remember that word, the first feeling that appears, and that's where you'll find the answer. Not in the other ones, but the first feeling. That's the way life is expressing, like the first feeling that, and I know that sounds really hard to do, but when you're sensitive to the body, you know what I mean, like just directly into the center of yourself. And this is where the guide is. The guide is you, as yourself, as that essence.
I have been like deeply practicing that as much as one can practice, and I find what happens when I have a sense that I've dropped down to zero is at the other end I pop up and I write a really clear email, or like the kind of layers of analysis that have been creating inflammation around the issue are gone, because I just need to say need to say this, and this is what it is, and it's so obvious. Like action comes very quickly and organically.
And don't expect it to be right or appreciated by others, but it's what's got to happen. You've got to speak your flow, or you've got to do your flow. Like when I say it might not be appreciated, they might not agree with it, but as long as you're being honest in every moment, you know it comes from love, because your nature is love. Even if you tumble or you get it wrong, that organic, natural impulse is love, because your essence is love. Even if you hurt the other, like you never mean to, you're doing it innocently in a way. But all these things, so all that analysis and understanding, they've all played their part in order for you to go directly to the center of being. It's not even you going to the center, but the energy coming back to the center of being. And when that you begin to go back into time and into a story, just take yourself quietly to let that energy play out, and it's almost like a vibration into time, and then as it stills down, then you'll begin to see it again. Like, don't quickly act out of fear or quickly act out of these things. Like, go back into it.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
And like I said, I do a lot of practices throughout the day. I don't have much of a social life anymore, mostly just because I love to come back and like feel the isness of what's happening and let it stabilize. But oftentimes when I get into that space, and I teach yoga and meditation for a living, so then I'll show up to teach a class, and there will be such clarity and resonance with me and with the group, and like beautiful things unfold, and it's not about me and it's not about them. It's like I can sense the unity, but then, and it's so wonderful, and there's such power to it, and then it's almost like I think of those puppets with the giant heads, like this kind of claiming energy of mine comes in after and wants to claim credit, and I did that, and it's like my head becomes so heavy to carry around when that happens, and it almost seems like it's getting worse, like I'm like the elephant man, because it's like the more the resonance happens that I know has nothing to do with me. It's like then the more that really top heavy claiming energy happens, that is increasingly uncomfortable.
I
seem to go away.
I feel like it's clearing out, and just don't expect it to, in the timeline, in the apparent story, don't expect it to be quick, because what's quick to a human isn't quick in the appearance of this expression. It's like a tiny raindrop, and I feel like that happens, that when you're waking up, your places where you get stuck get highlighted, and it's almost like they get more and more extreme until they explode. So mine was always low self-esteem and like insecurity, and it's like life just kept putting that to me, like just kept presenting situations where I felt like I wasn't good enough.
Did that feel more intense than it had before?
It was like more extreme, so there was more freedom, and then the suffering was more extreme.
Do you think it was because it was more extreme, or do you think you were more sensitive to it?
That's a really good question, and yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. It's like you've taken off the plasters. So before that, so when it was like the most extreme, I wasn't doing things like trying to make myself feel better, or trying to hurt someone else, or trying to put them down, or playing all these power games. I was just giving myself the opportunity to feel that feeling and to be vulnerable, but I didn't even know I was doing that. But I wasn't acting it out, so I wasn't going and drinking or going and partying or going and getting myself another boyfriend, or I was just giving myself the opportunity to experience it. So it is most probably that I wasn't putting the plasters on top, so I wasn't dampening down the feeling. And I do feel now that everything is more extreme, so when I do feel feelings, they're bigger. Like everything's so energetical, like everything is so extreme, like because it's energy, whereas before you're locked in the prison of thinking, so you're removed from it. And then as you drop more and more into the body, everything, like pain hurts more, pleasure is more enjoyed, like everything is more.
And that self-consciousness seems like it stops a lot of us. Like I was looking on your Facebook feed last night on your video about love in the hotel room. Love video, and it was like so radical. It was like so full. I think many of us, like, it's self-consciousness consciousness is such a funny word because
Yeah.
it's you're conscious of yourself as an identity, and that kind of stops
Yeah.
things. But I think for most of us, there's so many
Yeah.
layers of
Yeah.
breaks that we put
But
on
yeah.
from
Yeah.
our actual feelings to what we allow ourselves to emote.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do still get embarrassed. Like some of the things that I do, I get embarrassed and I can feel my cheeks glowing. But I also feel like a fool. Like I can't really perceive it in time like I used to be able to. Like I can't really look out of it. But in the moment, I can feel sometimes those things I do like, oh, that's so embarrassing. But at the same time, like today when I was talking to that lady, and I was talking to this lady, and I just suddenly, this is so boring. Like we were talking about taxes, and I was like, I won't make you talk about this anymore. It's so boring. And I suddenly blushed because I think she blushed that I'd said our conversation was boring, and then I blushed. But at the same time, I can't really perceive it in time. It's like all of that happens, but I can't really remove myself to look and think of what I would be. Whereas I remember before, I was always had this removal of like watching myself. Not always, but and the intense that was, the more I was watching myself, the more I suffered. And the less I watched myself, the more I was free, like a child.
It seems that when you get embarrassed, though, then you think your embarrassment is kind of funny.
Yeah, I can't perceive it as such. It's like the body gets embarrassed, and then I can't really perceive it. It sounds weird, but I can't really look at myself. It just
It
isn't.
doesn't seem like it's a problem. It just seems like it's more aliveness the way
Yeah,
you respond.
yeah.
But
Yeah, but all it's what I trying to encourage is all of us is welcome. It's all about totally embracing yourself as you are with all your vulnerabilities and all your quirks and all of us.
Like you're not getting out of this body.
No.
Still.
and you know, and I still act out of conditioning because I came with such terrible low self-esteem. I still have the conditioning where I over listen to other people. Like people tell me things, like forceful personalities tell me things, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I still have the qualities of my conditioning. Like all of us are, and then I suddenly remember that they're not necessarily right, and then I'm like, oh yes, they're not necessarily right. But I have that conditioning because of growing up, always being told, bless my family and teachers, but they were telling me I was always wrong, that I can still have this conditioning where I over listen to people. So we all are going to have these conditionings of this body, but I also think it's quite funny that I over listen to people because I can be so wise, but yet somebody tells me something so stupid and I'm like, wow, yeah.
Yeah. So the personality or whatever, the conditioning still has a momentum. The momentum might have a trajectory.
Yeah.
But so what?
Yeah. And it kind of makes me a neat teacher because I don't have that personality. You know, that personality that's all like, I'm the knower. I just don't, not that that's wrong, a different personality type would have that, but I just don't have that because as a child I was dyslexic, very badly dyslexic. So at school I was always told I was wrong, like I failed everything. Like I was always failing school. And then with my parents, they're both quite perfectionists, so they also had that momentum as well that you couldn't do. So I just grew up thinking that I was not getting it right or not right. And so I don't have that strong personality. It's like, I'm right. Whereas normally the teacher is filled by somebody that's got that strong personality. And so it's quite neat that I've ended up speaking about this and I don't have that strong, I have quite a, like also, I don't know. So it's all got its good and bad sides, every part of us. But I can also be led astray. Somebody could sell me something that's really, really rubbish, and I'm like going away like, look what I got. Woohoo! They give me a good sales pitch and I'm like, oh yeah. I did almost in Australia buy 2 cars that were stuck together. Like
2 cars?
That were stuck together. I don't know if you get this in America. They can do this. Like they can stick 2 cars together. They're the same car, but like it might have been the car crash.
Like there was 2 accidents or something, and then they steal
it together. Yeah, and then they sell it. And I almost bought it, and then I took my friend to pick it up with me, so he drove me there. He was like, "Don't buy it! It's 2 cars stuck together," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know you could have that."
Well, it's kind of like the ultimate representation of oneness. Might be the right vehicle for you.
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you so much for your teachings
Oh.
and for being not too overtly authoritative.
Yeah.
Like, for
Oh,
not
nice.
inspiring my submissive.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, thanks for calling. It was lovely to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Yeah. Maybe I'll see you
How's
somewhere
the
else.
south of France? Is the air good?
Oh, it's beautiful. I just love it here. Yeah, I love it. It's been really sunny the last 4 or 5 days. And so it's like cold, just that tiny bit of coldness in the air because it's March. But at the same time, bright blue skies and really warm in the sunshine. It's my favourite. And the flowers are beginning to bloom.
Amazing.
Yeah, nice.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thanks, sweetie. Beautiful questions. Thank you. Lots
Okay,
of love.
bye.
Hi, Lisa. Wonderfully lively talk today. Thank you. It's all the cocaine I've been doing. Watching the live stream again. Sometimes all my efforts to bring about awakening feel a bit like... Let me show you. This is what he says his awakening feels like. Just have to see if this is... Very cute. Thanks, Lisa. It seems the more I spend time on the subject, the more depressed I get. Laurie says she feels that way too. That was from Robert. Thanks, Lisa. It seems the more I spend on this subject, the more depressed I get because I'm so identified. But I want to keep going. Please, perhaps going through depression is part of it. Well, maybe you need to do something different, Susan. Maybe you need to do some emotional release work rather than focusing on non-duality. Like something like Byron Katie might, or some other very physical, emotional work like rebirthing or something. You know, the problem with non-duality is sometimes if you do have that depressive tendency, it can hang on to all the negative things like I can't do it, and it's not proactive. It encourages non-activity. And then what about like doing one of these tests where you test your hair particle and see if there's any vitamins or anything you're lacking or your hormones are imbalanced. You can look it up on the internet, I think, where you take out a piece of your hair and you put it in a little bag and then you send it to someone who then does something to it and can tell what you're lacking. Sure, it can bring up stuff, and this subject does bring up stuff. But if you're feeling an overlying depression, then change it up. Try something else. But thanks for being so honest and sweet and vulnerable. Hi, Lisa. Could you please talk more about the intimacy with everything by dissolving the person? Thank you very much. Love, Claudia. Oh, the intimacy with everything. You just want to get the love chemical. Just say it. I am. This is. Feel it. Feel it. Monica. Hi, Anna. Lisa, thanks for answering. Makes a lot of sense. Also, I really get there is no me doing anything. Also, your response helps me focus on following the flow of what feels good. Sometimes with non-duality concepts, I get caught up in thinking. I think trusting that how I feel, listening to a pool of being true to desire is rather a nice way to live. Yes, it's crazy. And the thing is we're all scared of ourselves because once we start stepping out of our flow, this is when we start doing nasty things. So then we are afraid of our nastiness and other people's nastiness. We start doing nastiness when we feel like our love is outside of ourselves. So you don't need to worry about that. But yes, how could that be wrong? Acting from love. This is what my life has been. Like somebody was saying recently that I come from a life of privilege, but I come from a life of privilege which is now like a such a beautiful life. But that happens because I was bold enough to step away from what I was being told and to follow my heart. Like this, what I teach is my absolute heart and passion. And I get paid for it. People pay me money to express my love. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm saying don't pay me money to anyone. But I'm just saying that's... And then I also write. I love to write. And that doesn't tend to... Oh, it does pay a little bit, but it doesn't even matter. That's not even about money or it coming back to you. It's more that that's what my life is about, is expressing love. But that took some balls, I can tell you. And it wasn't really my balls. And that's a really sexist comment, Lisa, to say that it takes balls. But you know, that's conditioning coming up for you. My apology to all those feminists out there. But it takes courage. It takes the way of the warrior. It really does. And sometimes, even now, sometimes I'm like, uh-oh, because it makes people that aren't acting from their heart very mad, very angry, because everyone feels I've not acted from my heart. I've compromised myself for you. So fuck you. You better compromise yourself for me. But thanks, Anna. Hi, Radu. If you still have time, could you please talk? I don't know if I have time, Radu, so maybe next time. Yeah, I'll just go on for like another 5 minutes, I think. Fucking Lisa. What are we? This is from Thomas. Fucking Lisa. Even off topic from spiritual, your background back dyslexic is exactly the same as mine, and I struggle a lot with conditioning because of teachers and people telling I was thick when I was young. I mean, still happens now from time to time. It's strange, but lovely to hear it. It helps me. Thank you. Yeah. And I notice that I have a tendency to assume that I'm wrong, like that I've got it wrong. Like, so somebody will say, oh no, that's not how you say that word. And I'll just be like, oh yeah, how do you say it? And this is part of the conditioning because I was always being told, like I got put down a year at school and I just failed all the time because everything was tested with writing and I couldn't write very well. So I could never pass the tests even if I could do it. I like your cat, Navid. So, you know, it's part of the conditioning. But on the positive side, it makes you really quite sweet. Like, and it has a sweetness to it as well on the positive side. But I mean, and I find sometimes I could be taken for a bit of a fall and a ride, but that's part of life, you know. It's had its benefits. On the positive side, that dyslexia and that kind of energy has had so many positives to it. People like my personality because I'm not really pushy and domineering with my ideas. It means I ask lots of questions, so actually I've ended up being most probably super intelligent. I don't assume that I know in time. I'm talking about the intellect. There's something, the presence is known, but it's not that part. But I don't get very disheartened if somebody tells me I can't do something, because that was the way it was in my childhood. So there's so many positive things that it can have. We tend to get into psychology and then just look at ourselves negatively and not see the positive effects of conditioning. Don't aim to get rid of your conditioning. Aim to see it as a celebration of God and uniqueness. And the more that you relax to yourself, the less nasty, and that's the side we don't like, you'll be. Because you won't be looking for home in somebody else or something else. Thanks, Thomas. Hi, Chris Ball. Hi, name I can't read. Haha, I feel that too. What is rebirthing? I don't really know what rebirthing is, but I know it's a very physical thing to do with the emotional body. On purpose. Okay, guys, it was such a joy sharing with you. Thank you. Thank you. So, where are we? Thanks, guys. I shall see you on Sunday at 6 p.m. French time. Thanks. Bye.